Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. We're going to begin by adding some vocabulary down at the bottom of the screen, and this is just to make sure that all levels can access the lesson. So straightforward word to start with, enfermo. Enfermo is like infirm, it's ill. So enfermo, ill or sick. Ocupado. Ocupado is like occupied, but we also use it for busy. So occupied and busy. Ocupado. Libre. Libre is free, but not in the sense of no money, but in the sense of free to do something. Libre. La cama. La cama. The bed. La cama. Agotado. Agotado is exhausted. Agotado, exhausted. And finally, está. And está is he, she, it is. So either he is, she is, or it is está. Está. Okay, let's play around with that to get familiar with the vocabulary before we move on to the meat of the lesson. How would you say, so remember está is he is, or she is, or it is. How would you say he's busy? He's busy. He's occupied. What would that be? Está ocupado. Está ocupado. Now we've seen that está is also she is. So to say she is busy will be the same, except that our adjective busy needs to turn to feminine, and so instead of ocupado, it's got to be ocupada, ending in an A. So how would you say she's very busy? Let's add in very, muy, very. She's very busy. What would that be? Está muy ocupada. Está muy ocupada. And you may well know that to say a negative, to say he, she, it's not, we just start with no. Just put the no before está. No está. How would we say she's not ill? She's not ill. What would that be? No está enferma. No está enferma. She's not ill. No está enferma. How about he's not free? He's not free. Maybe you're trying to book an appointment with somebody, but he's not free. What would that be? No está libre. No está libre. And libre doesn't change with from masculine to feminine. It stays libre. It's only the ones that end in an O, like enfermo and ocupado, that change to feminine. Libre is the same for masculine and feminine. How would we say she's free today? She's free today. And today is just hoy. Hoy, H-O-Y. She's free today. What would that be? Está libre hoy. Está libre hoy. She's free today. We might have, she's not free until tomorrow. No está libre hasta mañana. No está libre hasta mañana. And so the only way we can tell whether it's masculine or feminine is just by the context of what we're talking about. Now if we want to say he's in bed, he's in bed. In Spanish we have to say he's in the bed. He's in the bed. So the word for in is just en, E-N. So how would we say he's in the bed? Está en la cama. Está en la cama. So he's in bed, he's in the bed. Está en la cama. How would we say she's in bed, she's ill? She's in bed, she's ill. Está en la cama. Está enferma. Está en la cama. Está enferma. So he, she, or it is está. Está. And if we want to say he, she, or it has been, and in English we often shorten that to it's been, she's been, he's been. So has been is ha estado. Ha estado. The a is he, she, or it has, and estado is been. So ha estado, he, she, it has been. And interestingly, estado means state as well. State, estado, state. So Estados Unidos, United States. And I mention that because it has some relevance to something we'll look at later in the lesson. But for the moment, all we need to know is that ha estado is he, she, or it has been. Okay, how would we say he's been ill? Ha estado enfermo. Ha estado enfermo. How about she's been busy? Ha estado ocupada. Ha estado ocupada. How about he hasn't been free? So like he hasn't been free these days. What would that be? No ha estado libre. No ha estado libre. And how about Pablo has been in bed? Pablo has been in bed. Pablo ha estado en la cama. Pablo ha estado en la cama. He's been exhausted. What would that be? Ha estado agotado. Ha estado agotado. He's been exhausted. How about he's been with Maria in Valencia? He's been with Maria in Valencia, and with is con. Ha estado con María en Valencia. Ha estado con María en Valencia. And we'll just take a brief pause there while I mention our very popular all-in-one special offer. None of these step-by-step courses are available on YouTube. We only publish supplementary lessons on this channel. And of course there are huge savings to be made as well. This is available exclusively from prospanish.co.uk. So, ha estado, he, she, it has been. If you want to say I have been, then we just need to change the a, the ha, which is he, she, it has, to I have, and that is he, e. So how would you say I have been? He estado. Estado. So how would you say I've been very busy? He estado muy ocupado. He estado muy ocupado. How about I've been ill? I've been ill. And let's say it's a woman or a girl saying that. He estado enferma. He estado enferma. I've been ill. How about I've been in bed ill? I've been in bed ill. He estado en la cama enfermo. He estado en la cama enfermo. What do you think these two words mean? Posible, imposible. Posible, imposible. Possible and impossible. Possible and impossible. So how about if we wanted to say it's been impossible? It's been impossible. Well, we know it has been is ha estado. It has been ha estado. But it would be incorrect to say ha estado imposible. And the reason for this is that there are two different ways of saying it has been. We know one is ha estado, and we'll come on to the other one in a second. And the reason why there are two it has beens is because there are two verbs to be. So any of the forms that come from that will have two versions. So it is has está, as we've seen, but it's also es. It was would have the same issue. It will be as well. If you're interested in the ins and outs of this, then search on the channel for the ser and estar video. But all we need to know for the moment is that ha estado, he, she, it has been, can only be used with where something has been. She has been in Spain. Ha estado en España. So location, where. And the state of something. Remember before I said estado means state. Well, being ill is a state. Being busy is a state. Being exhausted is a state. So, ha estado can be used with all of those. Being angry. He's been angry all day. Would also be ha estado. But if it's not a state or location, then we need something else. Ha sido. So ha sido comes from the ser verb to be, ha sido. So it's also he, she, it has been. And this will be used for anything that's an essential part of something. A description, basically, of what something is like or what something is. And that sounds a bit abstract at the moment. So let's go for our examples. If we want to say it's been impossible these days, whatever the situation, then we are describing the characteristic of something, not its state. So we have to use ha sido. So how would you say it's been impossible? Ha sido imposible. Ha sido imposible. How about it hasn't been possible? It hasn't been possible. No ha sido posible. No ha sido posible. The word for interesting is interesante. Interesante. Now that's not a state, like where you go from being ill to being better, or busy to being not busy, to being free. Interesting is a characteristic of something, the essence of something, we might say. So how would we say it's been very interesting? Ha sido muy interesante. Ha sido muy interesante. It's been very interesting. What do you think this means? And after spending some time with somebody, maybe somebody you've recently met, ha sido un placer. Ha sido un placer. What would that be? It's been a pleasure. Ha sido un placer. It's been a pleasure. And this brings us to another aspect of ser, or ha sido, has been, is that whenever you have a noun directly after, so a pleasure, un placer, or it could even be a person's a noun, it will always be the ser verb, never estar. So you never even have to really think about, oh, is this a characteristic, essential characteristic? Is it a state? If it's a noun directly after, it will always use the verb ser in whatever form it might be. So, ha sido un placer, it's been a pleasure. How would you say it's been a disaster? It's been a disaster. And a disaster is un desastre. Un desastre. Ha sido un desastre. Ha sido un desastre. So, un desastre, a disaster. It's a noun, so we know definitely it will take the verb ser, and ha sido is the it has been from ser. Now, so far we've been able to translate quite neatly and directly from the English to the Spanish, but there is one slight difference in usage that we haven't covered. In Spanish, particularly in Spain, this is less so in Latin America, but particularly in Spain, they use this present perfect, has been, has done, has said, obviously we're concentrating on has been, for the very recent past, where in English we would use was. For example, there's a knock at the door, somebody goes to answer it, comes back, and in English we would say, who was it? Oh, it was Pablo. In Spanish, we would say, who has it been? It has been Pablo. And that's just because it's very recent past, and so they use the present perfect for that. So how would you say, in this case, it was Pablo? They've come back from answering the door and said, it was Pablo. How would you say that? Ha sido Pablo. Ha sido Pablo. So it was Pablo, but the Spanish would say it has been Pablo because it's very recent past. And the simple reason that we don't have to consider whether it's estado is because Pablo is a noun, and as it's coming straight after has been, we need the ser version. Ha sido Pablo. It has been Pablo, it was Pablo. How about in the classroom and somebody's talking when they shouldn't be, and the teacher asks, who was it? And they say, it was Maria. What would that be in Spanish? Ha sido María. Ha sido María. Now in Latin America, you would more likely hear an English type phrasing where they would use fue, it was. So Fue María, it was Maria. But European Spanish, ha sido, it has been. And we'll just finish with a reminder about our most popular download from ProSpanish.co.uk. This is the all-in-one special offer. Once downloaded, it's yours to keep. There are no subscriptions. And of course, it includes the main levels 1 to 6 course, plus an accelerated vocabulary course, a verbs and tenses made easy course, 60 fluency boosters, and finally 50 of our best standalone videos, all of which can be completed without any prior knowledge of Spanish. And best of all, it can be shared on all the devices in your family. Okay, so that's prospanish.co.uk.